Look, on the lily pad. A leprechaun. Catch him. Catch him. Catch him. Catch him.
They always catch me. Cause I'm as green as me clover hat marshmallow.
Oh, lucky, we're getting closer.
They always catch me. What if I had a new great green clover? I'll blend right in.
Oh, lucky, we're getting closer.
They always catch me.
We gotta find Lucky.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops.
Got that right, Lucky.
Marshmallow power, double me luck. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops. You can double your luck with Lucky Charms. Part of a nutritious breakfast. They're magically delicious. Part of a nutritious breakfast.
Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, charming. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, Lucky Charms. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, charming. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, Lucky Charms.
Save the rainbow. It's as colorful as marshmallows in me Lucky Charms. Keep rainbows from fading away.
There's Lucky, catch his Lucky Charms. You just ran out of luck, Lucky. Ran out of luck. A little luck and a pluck. Got him.
They always catch me.
We gotta find Lucky.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops.
Got that right, Lucky.
Marshmallow power, double me luck. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops. You can double your luck with Lucky Charms. Part of a nutritious breakfast. They're magically delicious. Part of a nutritious breakfast. They're magically delicious.
Dear Santa Claus, I've been very bad. Stuck an axe into my brother's head. Life's really boring, reality sucks. I need a new toy but got no bucks. In a Game Boy horror, I can see ghosts and the living dead. In a Game Boy horror, I see the monsters under my bed. Game Boy horror is the best.
Here's your host, Daddyman.
Hey there, Kitchen Mutants. It is Friday night. I am your favorite Daddy Man in the kitchen. And that can only mean one thing. That's right. It is time once again for Mutant Cafe. And that is the last time I'm going to put O in a word. I promise you, because I'm not smart enough to keep doing that all night. And I got a little bourbon in my hand. Welcome back to the kitchen. Thank you guys so much for joining us again tonight. It is live, and I just looked, and man, we have not done live since Thanksgiving. And considering it's 2020 and 2021, that's about 4.5 years. So welcome back to the live show. I hope you all enjoy it. We got some craziness going on in the kitchen tonight. St. Patrick's Day is next Wednesday, and tonight, Last Drive-In Again crew is showing the Last Drive-In's version of Maniac. So I thought, what better way to celebrate both those things than to be a complete maniac in the kitchen and make one of my favorite cakes. We are making a Lucky Charms cake. That's right, all in 1 hour, and I got a ton going on, and it's already 3 after, so I've already screwed over 3 or 4 minutes, so I gotta get moving. So there's not gonna be a ton of talking tonight. Every time I do start rambling, I'm going to take a drink. I don't know if that's gonna help or slow me down, who knows, but let's get going right now with the ingredients. You should have all of your ingredients at room temperature if you're attempting to be a maniac with me and cook along in this 1 hour cake. You should have your oven on 385, can't remember the word oven, 385, and you should have all your ingredients at room temperature. That is going to help you move along. Let's hit those ingredients really quick. For the cake, you are going to need 1 pound, that's right, 1 pound, 2 sticks of butter at room temp again, 2 cups of sugar right here, 2 tablespoons or teaspoons of vanilla, excuse me, and I like my bourbon vanilla, y'all know that, 6 large eggs, 2.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of ground up Lucky Charms, whoops, here it is, cereal. Don't worry if you have a little bit of chunks in there. You can either put them in a baggie and roll them for about 10 minutes and get them nice and fine with a little bit of chunks is not a problem. Or throw them in a blender or a food processor, whiz them up and get them down to flour size. That would be great as well. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, any kind of salt you like, 1 3/4 cups of whole milk, and some cooking spray. This is going to be your savior tonight. Cooking spray. For the frosting, you need 3/4 pounds of butter, because who can have enough butter? That's 3 sticks, again at room temperature. 2 teaspoons of vanilla again, 4.5 cups of confectioner's sugar, and 1 cup of crushed Lucky Charm marshmallows. Okay, so we're doing the cereal in the cake, marshmallows in the frosting, and then about 2 cups of marshmallows for decoration. And because I am a maniac and a crazy person, I kind of got them all separated in a nice pretty little palette here so I can decorate that way. All right, so let's get going. I'm not kidding you, we gotta move on this episode. First thing, okay, 385 on the oven, you got that going. All your ingredients are room temperature, you got that going. And the reason you need all these ingredients at room temperature is because you're gonna start with this butter, and you're putting this all in the oven. So the last thing, you're gonna get this up on high, these 2 sticks of butter. You're throwing this on the oven. So the last thing you wanna do is have the first couple minutes that your cake is supposed to be baking, it's actually coming up to room temperature, then getting up to the 385. If you got this all at room temperature, it's going to hit 385 much, much faster. And when you're trying to be a maniac and make a cake in 1 hour, that is super helpful. All right, so we already got this butter started to pulverize. So we're going to scrape it down off the sides. Basically what we're doing is we're aerating this butter, we're fluffing, I almost said fluffering. We're fluffing it up, filling it with air. All right, next we are going to put the granulated sugar, not the confectioner sugar, that's for the icing. We're gonna go nice and slow. I'm gonna put about half the sugar in here, and then I'm once again gonna scrape down the bowl. You're going to hear me say scrape down the bowl quite a bit. But it's already getting nice and fluffy. You can see through the bowl because my brother loves me and he got me this big, beautiful bowl. I saw he was in the room before I started. What y'all think of that little Lucky Charms vocal coder, I think they're calling that? Whatever. The people who can't sing. Anyhow, let's get this going. We are fluffing up this butter and sugar mixture. Wow, there we go. There's all that sugar. Doing good on time. Get that up to high. And we're creaming the sugar. You want a nice, creamy consistency. Right now it's kind of clumping up a little bit. And we're going to stop it and scrape it down again. There we go. Scrape it down. This is really a basic cake batter. Most cakes follow the same procedure, which is cream up the sugar and butter, add in your liquids and your eggs, add in your dry mixture, and that's it. And then you got your batter. Unless you're doing some kind of specialty cake, which may have a few extra steps in there, but cakes really kind of follow the same procedure. So we're going to get that going. All right, we're also going to add a little bit of vanilla here once this gets creamed up. And it going high. Now, if you don't have this, you can definitely use the hand mixer. you don't have a hand mixer, you can definitely mix this literally by hand. That's going to take a little extra time. I don't know how people did it back before the 1940s, 50s hand mixers, or these nice stand mixers. They're expensive. We've talked about this with the Patreon group. Yes, they are expensive. Ask for them for Christmas or birthday, or Christmas and birthday and anniversary for the next 10 years, because honestly, they are worth it. They make this stuff a dream, right? And allow you to do a cake in an hour, maybe. All right, so we're gonna go with a little bit of vanilla. And as you know, I always just eyeball it. Then we're gonna go eggs one at a time. And you know what making eggs or cracking eggs mean? It's Katie time. One at a time. Make sure they all get incorporated. All right, we're getting a nice smooth batter. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna stop it again. Woo, stop. Stop the ride. I want to get off. Make sure you're just getting everything down off that side, so you don't want to leave any little bits. Okay. Here we go. Keep going. 3 more eggs. Now, the reason we're going really, really fast at the beginning like this is because we need about 10 minutes baking time. Now, what I've done to make this doable in an hour is instead of 2 9-inch baking pans, which is pretty standard for a cake, we're doing 4. So that's making your layers thinner. You're not getting 2 layers, you're getting 4 layers, but they're cooking faster that way. Okay. Also kick the heat up a little bit. Doing a 385, I think 350 is pretty standard for a cake. All right, so we got the eggs in there. They're mixed up. Stop talking. All right, card number 2. We're 2 of 3. All right, dried cereal in a bowl. We're going to combine the flour and the cereal and the baking powder soda. Baking powder. I can never remember between the two. And a pinch of salt. We're just going to mix that all together. Don't worry about making it super well incorporated. It's going in there anyhow. We talked about it earlier today with the Patreon subscribers who have access to a chat room. And we talked about the recipes and different recipes they're making. And we get really is a place to get really hungry because I get to see all the food that everybody's making. Some incredible food. All right, so we're going to slow this down. Oh, we talked about, it's amazing that you could put that little bit, a cup of this cereal ground up, which is 3 cups whole. Once you grind 3 cups down, it makes a cup. It's amazing how much it flavors a cake. I don't know what's in Lucky Charms cereal to perfume that entire cake, but it does. Okay, so we're going to go nice and slow now because we're adding a dry ingredient in here. And if you're going fast, it's going to explode in your face. So we're going to go mixer on low. Half this flour mix is going into the mixer, nice and slow. If it starts puffing up, you're going too fast. Right. About half. You're guessing here. Doesn't have to be science. I mean, it could be science if you want to get out a measuring cup. I'm not going to go that far. Or if you get a little on the table. Great, it's thickening up nicely. Now we're going to go half the milk. A little more. That is in a measuring cup, so I can't actually measure. Great. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to scrape down the sides. And scrape down that bottom. Oh, smells so good. It totally smells like Lucky Charms. Wait until you start baking it. Then it really smells like Lucky Charms. All right, so we're nice and mixed up. We're going to go to the second half of the dry ingredients. I can't get that song out of my head now. delicious breakfast. Hey, we're gonna save this because we're using this later. Right, and the last of the milk because it's real thick now. Here we go. And let's just get that all lined up. And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna scrape down those sides. Get some of this stuff out of the way. We're not gonna use that. We're done with the salt. Get the butter out of the way. Because what we're gonna do is we need 4 9-inch baking pans. They are identical. I use the non-stick because that's gonna help you get the cake out. And we're gonna use this cooking spray to be extra careful. We're just really gonna spray those pans. I want those cakes sliding out when we're done because, again, we're doing this in an hour. Are we doing this in an hour? I haven't mentioned that. Get this really well sprayed down. That'll be awesome for Wally later. You can lift the floor. I'm using a actual cooking spray that is made for baking. It has a slightly more buttery taste to it than an oily taste. All right, so we're done with that. We are going to take a giant ladle. Before I do that, guess what I'm gonna do? Scrape the bowl. Just make sure we got every little bit in there, and I think we do. Awesome sauce. Give it a try. Oh God, that's good. All right. That's going in there. Here we go. And to ensure that we're kind of evenly putting this in there, we're gonna do 2 ladles each to start. See how we're doing at that point. There's 2 for that one. And 2 for this one. And 2 here. There you go. That's more than half the batter, which is awesome. That's what we're looking for. They don't have to be perfect. I think we're gonna go 1 more each. That one gets 1. And there we go. Yep, that looks like about a ladle. Again, they don't have to be perfectly uniform. You're never gonna notice it until you cut into the cake, and at that point you're about to eat the cake, so you don't really care if all the layers are even. All right, there we go. Cake is done. I lied. I'll take a drink for that. Now what I'm doing, I'm tapping this down on the table. It's getting any little bubbles of air out of there so you don't end up with little cracks or bubbles. This is going in the oven for about 10 minutes. There we go. Cake is in the oven. Get this clean just a little bit with my slop rag. All right. Take a deep breath. Ooh. It's 6:18. Right on the schedule. Time for the icing. How y'all doing? Let's see if we have any comments. Look at that. I'm going to be completely smart ass. Cake times 2. In a freaking hour. Yep. And yes, baking is alchemy. Ruby, welcome. Wow, look at all y'all. I love it. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you being here. And so I did mention tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time, there's all this confusion because Eastern time, Central time, West Coast time. I'm Central time, 8 o'clock Central time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and 7 o'clock, whatever that other time is, Mountain time. We are watching with Last Drive-In Again crew, the Last Drive-In version of Maniac, which is honestly one of my top 5 episodes of The Last Drive-In with Joe, Bob, and Darcy. It is an amazing movie. It is a gross movie, but I tend to like the gross ones. I'm the guy who likes Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. So, all right, I'm rambling. Time for a drink. I mean, this is bourbon that I put green food color in just to make it green. All right, there we go. New bowl. Can't see through this one, but it's icing. You know what icing looks like. Whisk. First we were using a paddle. I think I said this. Now we're using a whisk. And man, this icing could not be easier. This is a great icing for cupcakes. It's great icing for cakes. It's just so quick. 3 sticks of butter. Get my next. Here we go. Now, there's a lot of butter in here. Stacy was like, "Holy crap, mutant foodie!" Oh, come on, we've had a bad, however many months. Don't you deserve 5 sticks of butter? And it's a big cake, so I mean, you're not gonna eat it all, right? In theory. So again, you're just creaming this butter on high, just like you did to the other one. Because it's room temperature, it's gonna cream up nice and quick. Green food coloring makes green poop. I love looking at the chat, y'all. Come on. All right, new bowl in the mixer, whisking. We are whisking for about 1 minute. And then we're gonna add, now this one's important that it gets creamed. Don't leave it whole or chunky or whatever. You want it nice and creamed. And it happens really fast when it's at room temperature. Let me show you right here. Now look at that. It's already creamed. It's already, beautiful, nice and yellow. Look at that. Stick it to the sides though, so you know what that means. Time to take a drink and scrape down the sides. All right. And the bottom. Get scraped down that bottom. Gonna go slightly slower. Scrapey, scrapey. You can already smell the cakes. It smells so good. I can't imagine working at like Kellogg's or whoever makes the Kellogg's. I don't know. Whoever makes Lucky Charms and all these cereals. Can you imagine smelling that all day long? I would never run it again. I worked at Ben & Jerry's in college, and honestly, I couldn't eat Ben & Jerry's for years because it just gets to be a bit much. Great. One more time, we're going to scrape that bowl. Let's get this out of the, there we go. Let's get out the whisk a little bit. Scrape down the sides. Doo, doo, doo. I wanted to play that one song, that song, that Maniac song, but, I'm not paying the rights for that. It won't maybe do a little, there you go. That's it. There's my Maniac dance. All right, a little bit of vanilla. Again, bourbon vanilla, nothing wrong with that. It's going to start loosening this butter up. And we're going to very carefully, very slowly, very carefully, half a cup at a time. I'm even going to, you got to kind of go fast to get it all off that whisk, but at the same time, you don't go fast when you're adding it. Let's put it that way. So now we're gonna go back up. Woo! See, that's what happens right there. So turn it down, add your thing, and then go back up. Bring it down. Add your sugar, go back up. That's what you don't want to do. But, we're doing this in an hour. Now, right now, it might look a little brown. That's because you have vanilla in there, and the vanilla is brown. But this white confectioner sugar is going to kind of, brighten it up, make it pretty and white. Look at all that mess. Get on the floor for Hubs. Welcome, Hubs. Hubs is watching Wally right now. There we go. Keep going. I'm going to add a full cup this time because it is starting to get incorporated. You could kind of go like this. They sell like guards that go over there, but What fun is that? Getting all nice and smooth. Here, I'll show you guys. Look at that. Right now it's gonna taste like butter. Yes. But sweet butter. Super sweet butter. Woo! Guys, there's so much sugar and butter in this. Alright. Slowly. Then pick up a little more speed. Then pick up a little more speed. There we go. All right, a little more. St. Patrick's Day, man. So I started, fun fact, I started doing the YouTube videos last year on St. Patrick's Day. We did the Colcannon, which some of you have just recently done. Here we go. Which is a delicious Irish mashed potatoes and bacon and cabbage, all kind of combined in a one bowl wonder. It's delicious. It's yummy. Go back and check that episode out because I talk about how, you know, it's the beginning of a lockdown. Who knows? It's going to be over in a month. No big deal. Here we are. I guess that's depressing. That's not fun. It is kind of fun when you watch it because I'm so optimistic that it'll be over really quickly. All right. I think we're going to go the rest of this. We got about 2 minutes to go on the cakes. I'm going to stop. I may not use all of this. You really want to go to a certain consistency. Scrape down the sides. Yeah, we're getting, once you start getting kind of thick and it's not going to be spreadable, you want to stop with the powdered sugar. Confectioner sugar, excuse me, same thing. There we go. So close. Oh, I smell those cakes. Let me check them. Almost, y'all. Cool. And you got spreadable icing. Doot, doot, doot. Yum. Get that. Oh, whoa. Get back in there. Off that whisk. Don't waste any of this icing. You're icing an entire cake plus the inside of 3 layers. So you are going to need this. It may seem like a ton of icing, but it's really not. Let's get this out of here. Let's get this mixer out of the way. Let's get this board cleaned up. Keep losing my towel. There we go. There we go. Super boring, sorry. Got to keep it a little clean. All right, we're going to take about 1/3 of this icing. See how pretty? Icing. Eat just this icing. Yeah, I'd say that's about 1/3. And I'm going to put, now you don't have to do this step. You can totally leave it as is. But I'm going to put just a touch. And literally just a touch. Start with like 2 dots. Don't overdo it because it'll turn so dark, weird green. You can use an icing paste. I think that's what my mom uses. My mom is a master baker. She's amazing. The decorating skills of my mom is one to be rivaled. All right, so that's a nice, pistachio. We're going to go a little bit darker. Okay. Again, you can add more, but you can't take it away. That's what my dad always said. When you're cooking, you can add more, but you can't pull it back out once it's in the bowl. There we go. Look at that. Pretty green. I think that's pretty good. I mean, we're kind of matching the. Might go a little more actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go just a touch more. I also brought out the yellow because this is such a dark green. I think I'm gonna give it just a touch of yellow. Yellow and blue makes green. So if it's too blue, you know, add a little yellow. That's what I don't like about it. It turns so dark green, blue, green. There we go. Look at that. Pretty. All right, so this is the frosting for the inside of your cakes. All right, it's been 12 minutes. Let's check those cakes out. You got your green icing. You got your white icing. We're gonna get the cakes out, and if they're ready, they're going right in the freezer. That's the next thing that we're doing to make this super fast. Yep, and that's perfect, okay? Perfect. It's completely cooked through. All right, actually, I'm giving it 1 minute. Let's check these on the bottom. You may notice a difference between the bottom and the top. It should be cooked through and springing just a bit. I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. Oh no, we only have a half an hour. We're good. All right, we're gonna need a cake plate. Don't panic. It's the worst thing you can do. We talk about it all the time. Do not panic. Have a drink. It's St. Patrick's Day-ish. Hope you all have had a great week. Next week is a rewind. I'll talk about this now because we're probably going to be rushing at the end. Next week is a rewind. It is one of my favorite episodes. It is from last year's Valentine's Day month. I did an entire month of Daddyman Loves, and it is the actual Valentine's Day, or I think it was the day before Valentine's Day, maybe last year. Daddyman Loves Hubs, and I'm making both of our favorite dishes, especially him. It is Daddyman Loves Pasta Puttanesca. Pasta Puttanesca, for those of you who are not familiar, is a delicious, easy tomato-based pasta. It's got capers. It's got Kalamata olives. I don't know if I put tuna in it, but you can put tuna in it. I can't remember. It's been a year, well over a year. You can put tuna in it. The nice thing about pasta puttanesca is every single ingredient is something that you can keep in your pantry and it won't go bad. It'll go bad after, you know, a decade or whatever, but zombie apocalypse, whatever, you can just whip out all your cans and be like, look at this, it's a zombie apocalypse, and I'm making pasta puttanesca. How awesome is that? So pasta puttanesca is next week's rewind. So I hope you can join us for that. It's right before we went on YouTube. And then the week after that, we are doing the Quick Stab series that we did a while back, a couple weeks ago. Super quick, and we're making homemade kimchi right there in your kitchen. Kimchi is a really pungent, delicious ingredient. It's Asian-based, and it's a fermented, almost like sauerkraut, but Asian. And you can buy it in the store, and it's completely delicious, but this is homemade. And it goes with a recipe that we did a while back called kimchi chicken. The main ingredient is obviously the kimchi. So we're going to show you how to make it on your own at home. Now we're definitely ready. So let's pull that out, and we're going to throw these in the freezer, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Oh yeah, we're done. Look at that. Perfect. Now all this foam around the edge, that is the cooking spray. Don't touch that because it's scalding hot like I just did. Now these are going in the freezer. All right, I've got baking sheets down on the freezer, down on the bottom of the freezer, and I've got another one waiting. Let's get that out to put on top of the ones I just put in there. And these are going in the freezer for about 5 minutes. Sorry, I had to talk for about 5 minutes. No problem. All right, of course those don't fit. They fit earlier. Let's get this off. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little tip. We have a cake stand here. You could definitely use a plate. That's not a problem. What I did is you take wax paper or parchment paper, and I took strips, and I'm going to lay them on the edges, okay? And the reason I'm laying these on the edges is we are going to put our first cake round down on top of these parchment paper pieces. I'm going to try to use the thicker ones. This one's kind of thin. And then when you ice, it's going to get on the parchment paper and not the cake stand or your plate. And then you're going to pull these off. 25 minutes, y'all. Okay? All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the crushed marshmallows and I'm going to put it into my vanilla only, not green, the vanilla. Just take a knife. And we're just going to stir that all in. Okay. This is going to look slightly different than the picture. I played around with a lot of different versions. I just kind of think this is fun because you can see all those yummy little marshmallows happening. Okay? Isn't that cool? Just giving you, playing with the flavors of the delicious Lucky Charms. All right. Coolio. So we talked about the kimchi, we talked about that. Yep, that's it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hat is warm, have another drink. What's people saying in the chat room? Yes, I'm not going to ice a hot cake. If you saw, not this past New Year's Eve, but 2 New Year's Eves ago, I had my co-host Courtney, who's been on several shows before, and we did my traditional, traditional New Year's Eve tipsy cake, which is delicious. Go check that episode out. And we pulled cake out of the oven and started constructing that hot ass cake. And poor Courtney was like holding pieces of cake that were like molten lava, like just, turning her hands red. It was not good. Luckily with a tipsy cake, you're breaking it up anyhow. So it was literally like breaking in our hands. You could see the steam. You couldn't see our faces because they were just covered with this, torrential, like hot lava cake. It was a problem. So this is still going to be a little warm. I'm not going to lie, but I do want to get it done because I said I would get it done. So, all right, we're going to grab the cake that is the furthest back and on the bottom because that's the coldest part of the freezer. And yes, as you just heard, one of them fell. It's live, whatever. All right, this is going to slide right out. Here we go. There we go. And I'm holding the pan. So yeah, it's a little warm, but it's not that warm. All right. So you're just going to tuck all this under so your decorating doesn't get on plate. And I made some extra ones. All right. And yes, you can see steam coming out here. It is warm. Whatever. All right. I mean, I could have lied and had ones ready, but I'm going to try to be legit here. All right, so we're going to take the green icing, and we're only going to take about a third because you have 4 layers, which means 3 in-betweens. And I'm not going to use a spatula. I just use a regular knife. You can definitely get an icing spatula, and those are kind of like a knife, but they're flexible. I personally don't like that. I just like a knife. You know how I am in the kitchen. Like if I can't use it for multiple things, I don't want it. So, all right. And we're not going thick on this because you're doing 3 layers. So you're going to start in the middle, push your way out, because when we put that next layer down, it's going to push some of this out, okay? So start there. And this is melting because it's hot. Yeah. This, of course, worked perfectly on all my dry runs and not tonight. Whatever. Y'all are getting the point. All right. Icing pretty much to the edge. Leave about, half or a quarter of an inch. Okay. It's totally melting, this icing. Y'all knew there was a 50-50 chance it wasn't going to work. It is going to work. You're going to let this cake sit and cool. I'm not going to eat it right away. So worst case scenario, this icing is soaking into the pores of this cake. And what's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. All right, layer 2. One that's super cool because, it was on floor. And what I did there is I've got bottom up, ta-da, layer 2. Right, at this point, you should be about 2 portions left in that bowl. So again, let's layer it up. Not too thick. You don't want to taste like just big, giant gobs of icing when you're taking a bite of cake. You want to taste this cake too. This cake is perfectly cooked. It's nice and golden brown. That's what you're looking for. All right. Almost to the edge. Not worried about this inside. What I'm really worried about is the icing that I'm going to do on the outside, because if it's this melty, those little things are not going to stick. We'll see what happens. I never promised it was going to work. I just promised it was going to be fun. That's what I try to do. We'll get that next layer. All right, this one is definitely a little more cooled. Yep, I can hold it. And notice I'm doing the top down because that gives you a nice flat surface to ice. Get my icing. Don't use the spatula that you use for the batter because that has uncooked egg. And I know Stacy will kill me if I don't say that. Stacy is worried about foodborne illness. Yeah, you should be, because you're gonna be sick on St. Patrick's Day. It shouldn't be from raw eggs, right? Right. Okay. There we go. Get this one all layered up. So yeah, that one's not melting quite as bad. It's giving me hope for the white frosting. Not a ton of hope, but a little bit of hope. How we doing? Oh, we got 18 minutes, Daddy Man. Slow down. Take your time. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to do it there. My parents watch the show. So embarrassed, I'm sure. Anyhow, the middle always is a little higher. That's another reason you don't want tons of icing in the middle. Push it on out to the edges. Okay. Go. Pretty. Ice it out. Don't worry about, playing around with it a little bit. All right. Pretty. And a little bit for me. Wash my hands. Let's go get that last layer. Last one. Fascinating just watching my empty kitchen, right? And this one's definitely cool. Because I'm holding it. Ta-da! There we go. Push it down just a little bit. It's a little warm. All right, so now we're starting with the white icing. I feel like I could really slow down. Wow, I hustled. Getting all cocky. This is where the cake goes flying off the table. All right, I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat, wiping my mouth, having a drink. Have I mentioned that we're watching Maniac today? How fun is that? Y'all watch Maniac? That Zito dude, he's crazy. And we're not watching the, what's his name? The little elf dude, Elijah Wood. We're not watching that version. We're watching the old version, which I love, because Joe Bob would never have us watch the new version. Actually, he might. I shouldn't say that. Who knows what Joe Bob would do? All right, so we're going to start at the top, and we're going to start in the center. We're going to press out to the sides. So I'm going to use about half of this icing, and I'm not going to worry if it starts sliding down the sides because I'm going to put it on the sides anyhow, okay? I'm also not going to worry. I don't know if there's a little bit of green coming out here. I'm not going to worry about that as well because one of the versions I did when I was testing this out had a lot of green coming out. And as I was kind of spreading it, it made this really cool kind of umbra pattern. And if you know what that is, it's kind of where you go from like a super dark color and then you kind of go into a very light color or light version of that color. And it gave it a nice little umbra pattern. So I'm not going to worry about it if it happens. We've talked about this a million times. There are no mistakes in the kitchen. Just happy accidents if you know how to deal with them. So we're going to put a big old blob of this right there in the center. And see how cool this is with all the pretty little rainbow going. Now you got to kind of hold on to this cake. What you could do, let me show you a little trick. Since we got some time. Hi. What you could do is you could take a big old skewer that I got right here, wooden skewer, stick it right there in the center. And what that's going to do is that's going to hold all the cake layers together. You got to kind of decorate around that, but that's fine because it's holding the cake layers, and that's more important than, you know, pushing around it. We can push around it, no big deal. Great. So push out to the edges. Hold your cake in place. Again, if you're doing this at home, not tonight, you know, and not trying to do it in an hour, you could definitely make sure these things cool. Give them about 20 minutes to a half an hour. Let them get nice and cooled. But we're doing it in an hour. So going fast. Great. And again, don't go too thick. It's a little awkward icing this because it's got the cereal in it. So don't worry about it. Tim always does his the afternoon of, which is awesome. And he was like, my icing looks horrible. It doesn't look horrible. No icing looks horrible. It's icing. Icing's beautiful. Don't judge yourself on these bakers who have these beautiful cakes. Of course they have beautiful cakes. They make like 20 cakes a day. You're not making 20 cakes a day. We've talked about it. Baking, cooking, all that kind of stuff, it's a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So if it's, you know, your first, second, third, fifth cake, it's not going to be, oh my God, beautiful. Did you buy that at a store? Who cares? It's homemade. It tastes delicious. And you can tell it's homemade. And that just means it was made with love, right? Trust me, most people don't make cake. So the fact that you made a cake is going to be plenty, okay? All right, so we kind of pushed it down to the edge. Now we're going to start with the sides. And again, you start at the top and just kind of work your way down. And then just start spreading across. Oops. And again, because you have all the wax paper or parchment paper here, you don't need to worry about getting it here because you're going to pull that out in a second. And I'm going to kind of start at the top. This cake is hot. Not going to lie, this cake is hot. But it's doing okay. Icing is also a little thick. You could probably, if you get your icing too thick, I'm not going to do it now, but you could add some milk to just kind of thin it up. Start with a tablespoon and then keep going tablespoon by tablespoon if you need to. But again, it's happening. Luckily it's hot, so it's thinning it out. See, again, happy accidents. And I just said to someone, there are no accidents in the kitchen. That's just practice for next time. We're gonna spin this around. Start at the top and push it down. Look at that. Great. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but again, who cares? It's going to be delicious, trust me. Now, you can do this with a lot of different cereals. You can do this with Fruity Pebbles. You can do this with Cocoa Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs. Cheerios is amazing. I like the Honey Nut Cheerios. I have made a Honey Nut Cheerio cake. Remind me somebody and I'll post that picture. Made a square Honey Nut Cheerio cake that was delicious. All right, we're getting there. Turn that around. Need my spatula. There we go. 10 minutes, oh my Lord. I worried all day long that this was not gonna go well. Now I got 10 minutes. All right, up to the top. Okay, here we go. We're almost done. And then we start the decorating. Now, the nice thing about, like I said, the picture that I used as my promo does not have the bits in the icing. The reason I did this is because I was worried that I was going to run out of time and not have time to decorate. So as you can see, it already looks decorated. You don't need to sit there and do some fancy pattern because you've got all these cool little bits in there. This is where I start getting super anal about what it looks like. Let's cover every little bit. Scoop it up from the bottom if you need to. Oh, we're so close. This is where you start like thinning out super thick parts because I'm out of icing in the bowl, but I got a little tiny bit to do. But see, I can push from the top. It's really thick at the top. So I'm going to push a little bit from the top. All right, I'm going to go all the way around and around and around. All right, I'm going to get real quiet here, but I got 8 minutes and I want to make this look good. Everybody get your cocktails out to celebrate because we are almost done. So again, if you didn't put the marshmallows in your frosting, you would have a beautiful white cake right now, and you could decorate the sides with all those pieces that I have. I am not going to do that because I think this looks amazing, but I am going to decorate the top. Okay, I'm going to take this out. It's done its job. You could leave that in too, by the way. You could just take some heavy-duty scissors or, oh, bro, my brother's in the chat room. What is the wire cutters or the metal cutters that's in the toolbox? You know, that thing. And cut that, just snip it off. And then the nice thing is if you leave just a tiny little nub at the top, it tells you exactly where to cut when you're cutting your slices. Okay, all right, so we're good there, I think. I'm just gonna make this nice and smooth. It's kind of cooling as I'm decorating it too, which is nice. I got 7 minutes, y'all. I know some of you have a movie to go to. Those of you that are doing the Mutant Theater movie have a movie coming up at 8 o'clock. I'm trying, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing with it, but because I think that's pretty perfect-ish. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna take all these and I'm going to start putting green at the top, because duh, those are the coolest ones. And again, I separated these out for a reason, because it kind of helps me decorate. Six minutes, y'all. You counting down in the chat room? All right, if you want to know how I did the pattern on the side, I'm going to show you right now. We're going to do a small, thin pattern on the side. We're not going to cover the whole side. What you do is you just take 1, 2, go down and over, down and over. All right, and then you take your next one and just butt it right against that. I'm just going to do 3. I did the whole entire cake in that picture. And then you take the next one and you keep going. Hopefully I'm getting these kind of straight. Y'all know I'm not good at straight. Doot, doot, doot. Unicorns for Katie. Katie gets a lot of shout outs tonight. Blue, blue, blue. I know Alex was super fascinated by this little pattern I had going on. This is how you do it. Just slightly over and down. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And what do we got? Rainbows. Boom, boom, boom. And we did all of them. Yes, back to green. Oh, we got 5 minutes. I love it. What was after green? Shooting stars, apparently. I don't think these look like shooting stars at all. Whatever. All right, pink. Came after pink, blue. Blue is unicorns for Katie. Not blue, unicorns. And are we back to green? No, purple. Purple was hearts. All right, so you get the idea. I would keep doing this entire thing. I'm like, almost halfway done. That's enough. Because it's also kind of running away from me. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull all these pieces out nice and gentle. Careful, careful. Careful, push any little frosting that you need to. If you don't have the cereal in here, the frosting is not going to be quite so persnickety. Here we go. And you're just going to take your immaculately clean finger, or you know what, better yet, a paper towel, bunched up, just kind of run across that, get all that icing down in there. And ta-da, y'all, I'm going to put some of this right there in the center. You did it in an hour. That is your delicious Lucky Charm cake. Lucky Maniac. Doo-doo. Ta-da! We are done. There you go. There's your cake. Look how pretty. We did it. Yay! Thank you guys so much for being here. It was a super fun live episode. It's St. Patrick's Day. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for being here again. I cannot wait to see you next week for the rewind and the week after that for kimchi. And then we got a couple other things coming up that we are going to celebrate with. Cheers to y'all. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks again for being here. Enjoy your cake. It is delicious, trust me. And I will see you again. Enjoy your tweets. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. We are watching The Last Drive-In, Maniac on Shudder. Enjoy your tweets wherever you are tweeting. Thank you guys so much for being with me, Kitchen Mutants. I can't say thank you enough. I know I say it about 20 times at the end of every episode, but thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy your cake, and I'll see ya in the tweets. Oh, cheers. Bye, y'all.
Look, on the lily pad, a leprechaun. Catch him! Catch him! Catch him! Catch
always catch me. Cause I'm as green as me clover hat marshmallow.
Oh, lucky, we're getting closer.
They always catch me. What if I had a new great green clover? I'll blend right in, blend right in.
Oh, lucky, we're getting closer.
They always catch me, catch me.
We gotta find Lucky, gotta find Lucky.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops.
Got that right, Lucky.
Marshmallow power, double me luck.
Whoa, 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 oh, oh, oh.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Whoa, whoa, oh, oh, oh.
The chase never stops. You can double your luck with Lucky Charms. Part of a nutritious breakfast.
They're magically delicious.
Part of a nutritious breakfast.
Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, charming. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, Lucky Charms. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, charming. Catch a pack of Lucky Charms, Lucky Charms.
Save the rainbow. It's as colorful as marshmallows in me Lucky Charm. Keep rainbows from fading away, fading away, fading away.
There's Lucky, catch his Lucky Charms.
You just ran out of luck, Lucky. Ran out of luck.
A little luck and a pluck. Got him.
They always catch me, catch me.
We gotta find Lucky, gotta find Lucky.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms. The chase never stops.
Got that right, Lucky.
Marshmallow power, double me luck.
Whoa, 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 oh, oh, oh.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Whoa, whoa, oh, oh, oh.
The chase never stops. You can double your luck with Lucky Charms. Part of a nutritious breakfast.
They're magically delicious.
Part of a nutritious breakfast.
They're magically delicious. Dear Santa Claus, I've been very bad. Stuck an axe into my brother's head. Life's really boring, reality sucks. I need a new toy but got no bucks. Game by horror, acting us and the living dead. The game by horror, I see the monsters under my bed. Game by horror is the best.
Here's your host, Daddyman.